Hey guys, we're now going to be going for a cheaper clear on the Dark Wing Dragon. Now this one was quite a bit tricky to try to figure out, like a cheap clear. Now I'm going to have to be using Neovision's VV to pretty much carry this entire fight. Mage fights are always very, very hard to do, full budget runs for because, mage fights are just a lot trickier to damage cap. So there's a few options for this fight. There's like Neovision's Terra, who really wants, quite a few STMRs to really do good damage, and even then, she still can't damage cap it by herself. Louise is really good. She's also very recent, so I didn't want to bring her. Another good option is like Ibarra, but she's like a limited unit. People, never like seeing Ibarra on like any kind of like run that's called budget. So we're going to be using VV because we kind of need something to really carry this fight. And VV, while he is, a very specific, somewhat recent Neovisions, we're going to use him. And we're going to use one STMR in the party because, again, we needed a little bit of damage boost to, based on my calculations, hit that damage cap. So this should work. Now, if you've got better options, better gear, better units, etc., it'll be good for you. But we're going to go with this. Now, the boss is a dragon, weak to fire or dark, does physical water damage and magical lightning damage. We're going to cover the physical with Steiner, and we're going to immune the magical lightning with resistance buffs from Carbuncle, as well as, we're going to do that. The breaker is going to be Jesse. Jesse's also going to entrust on VV to help get his LB stacks going. His shifted and his base form LB powers up his spells, which we're going to use. We're also going to need Dark Resist from the party to not have VV murder us when he does Doomsday. But we're going to get Dark Resist from Eurytia. Eurytia is also going to be our source of magical dragon killer. And she's going to steal the imperils when the boss imperils us, so we don't have to worry about dispelling our own team. Alright, let's give it a try. And the chain count score is just, automatic with VV. So we're going for a turn 10 clear, kind of like Zidane, Final Fantasy 9, you got to do all their long setups. So we're going to cover with Steiner. We're going to have Jesse just triple cast the Midgar special. That's going to fill LB gauge. Realm is just going to Masterpiece Sketch to fill LB gauge. VV can just... Wait for this to finish. Alright, VV can just quad cast Encouragement, again, to fill LB gauge. Aerith can just guard, and Eurytia can, from Carbuncle, Thunder Resist the party. And I'll show the gear and all after we do the clear. I'm actually not even sure if this is going to damage cap. This could be close in any case. Alright, so there is that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and use Jesse to entrust to VV, and then use VV to get a stack of his, or to do his power up on his shifted LB. Yeah, that's basically it. We just repeat. Alright, so now we're waiting for VV to go back to the base form, so we're just going to be chilling out for a few turns, basically. Yeah, it's going to be kind of a longish clear, unfortunately. Alright, VV can just quad cast Encouragement again. Or not, because his LB is not filled. Jesse can Midgar special 3 times. Now VV can quad cast Encouragement. Just resist, guard, cover. Just waiting. And there's the Imperil. So we're going to use 4 element barrier with Eurytia to steal those Imperils. We can go ahead and entrust to VV. We're going to need him again in a moment. And the rest can just repeat. So that gets rid of the Imperils from the boss. Eurytia is wearing lots of Thunder Resist gear, so even though she's imperiled, she's still immune even with the Imperils up. Alright, VV's back in the base form. Now, Eurytia's 4 element barrier gave us a dark resist buff, so the whole party is immune to dark damage. So we can use VV's True Doomsday to get another mod boost or whatever. Yep, there we go. Now Jesse can just Midgar special 3 times. Yeah, and we'll just put Uraisha back on Barthondega. And we're just waiting. Yeah, we're just waiting until turn 7 is when we're gonna start getting like actually ready for all this again. Vivi can just whatever. Turn 6, we're not imperiled. Yep. We just keep hanging out. Turn 7, we're going to start doing different stuff. We finally get ready for the clear for real. Okay, so we're imperiled. We're going to use Uraisha to get rid of that. Alright, so Uraisha will 4-element barrier to steal the imperils. We're going to shift Aerith on this turn, and we're going to use her shifted LB on turn 7. That's going to be the stat buffs for later. Jesse will entrust to Aerith. Oh wow, that's a ton of damage. Let's go ahead and have Steiner cover. Realm can just whatever. And Vivi is going to start getting ready. So we're going to Life's Radiance, and then we're going to start stacking Focus. There's actually a threshold at 80%. Maybe I should have reflected Shelga earlier, so we didn't push the threshold. We didn't push the threshold, but if your Aerith is stronger, and you're pushing threshold, you might want to do something to not push that threshold, like buff the boss earlier or something. Let's go ahead and just Thunder Resist again. Turn 8, I got my little list here. Overall, this is a very, very relaxed clear. We're not really doing a ton. We'll just Midgar special a few times. Aerith, we don't want to do that with you, and you guys just repeat. Guard Aerith. Okay, turn 9, we're going to do some buffs. BB is going to keep focusing his magic. Alright, let's see. Let's reload first. BB, focus 3 times. Aerith, let's do Ardent Prayer for the Fire Amplify. Jesse, let's, we're going to wait on Jesse. Alright, let's Rod Imperil with Realm. Steiner can repeat, you can guard, you can repeat. Oh, I was supposed to use, it doesn't matter. I was supposed to use Dragon Killer that turn. I'll just do it next turn. It's fine. It's totally fine. The kill turn, the only ones that really matter are Uraisha and Vivi. Okay, so we need to break. Let's go ahead and break with Jesse. Let's LB with Steiner. Let's put up Dragon Killer with Uraisha. We did Realm, so Vivi is going to shift, and we're going to quad cast Fyrega. And we're going to shifted LB with Aerith for the damage. Alright, we're going to quad Fyrega. Okay, let's target our team. Let's go ahead and send this. And let's send Aerith. And I don't really know the chain count, what it should have been, but that was fine. We're looking for 10 billion. Barely. Like I said, this clear barely cuts it, and this is what I was talking about when I was mentioning how, you know, the minimum needed for a budget run. So we damage capped, we perfect scored, but it was real close. And as you can see here, Vivi carried that fight pretty hard. And if you don't have Vivi, you know, Louise and Terra those two together can cap together. Ibarra can do really good. The problem is there's not really a lot of dark support for Ibarra. Emperor Vlad can do it as well. Can do really good. But yeah, so let me go ahead and show the team and what we just used. Okay, so that was the damage cap with Vivi, and I'll post the turn chart in the comments. So we're on the fire team, obviously. We're on... Carbuncle has Thunder Resist on Uraisha. The other two killers are there. Steiner is wearing a little bit of dark resist, a little bit. We're using a 75% dark resist and an 80% thunder resist. So we need 80% or 20 or better thunder and 25 or better dark on everyone. And then we don't need any water resist because we are evade covering it with Steiner, and he is just evade covering the physical damage, and he does his LB for the kill turn. Jessie, just a little bit of LB fill. She just entrusted and filled LB, and we did her limit burst to do an 87% defense break and the 120 fire in peril. If you have like Save Your Lightning, she's obviously way better. Then you would want to use a fire in peril from one of VV's skills during the clear as well, or use Realm to fire in peril. She can do that too. Realm, Rod in peril, LB fill, literally it. She just Rod in peril. That's the only reason she's here. If you've got an EX2 Aerith, she can do Rod in peril instead, and that means Realm can just hit the bench and replace her with another DPS if you need to. Aerith, base form, is a little bit LB fill, a little bit of resistance. Shift form, she did her shifted LB once early to do the stat buff on turn 7. That's the 400 stat buff and the 250 LB buff for herself. And then she did it again for damage. And this is like, the budget build. There we go. We've got all this set up. A little bit low on LB damage and all because, it's hard to fit with a budget build. So 150 LB and Magical Dragon Killer is 250. So yeah, so if your gear is, superior, then she can do way more damage, but I wanted to try to keep it budget. VV, base form, just a little bit of thunder and dark resist. Shift form, now I am using, full disclaimer, I am using one actual STMR, because I needed, based on the calculations, I needed a little bit of a boost to get him to the point that he can carry the fight. So there's the only STMR on the whole team, so no one can call me out on it. I am using one STMR. This is the old Aerith's STMR. But anyway, yeah, Dragon Killer, and he does chaining and all that. If you've got Savior's STMR, it's really good on him, but I didn't want to use that because I wanted to keep the STMRs to a minimum. Max Dragon Killer, and yeah, he did his support chain. And we used his shifted LB for the modifier boost, and we used his base form LB for the modifier boost, and we used his cooldown for the modifier boost, and all of those stacked together to boost the modifier of his Firaga. And then Eurytia, she had a lot of thunder resist. I think you only technically need like 90 plus the 80% buff to be immune after stealing the Imperils. I mean, there's really no reason not to give her more than she needed. And there we go. We didn't use her shift form. There's no need for it. And she did, she stole the Imperils. She did thunder resist from Carbuncle. She did dark resist from 4 element barrier. She did AoE Dragon Killer with her Dragon Killer stance. And that's pretty much it. If you've got Lasswell or Reagan, they have an even better Dragon Killer buff. So bring them instead, and then find a different way to buff the team's resistances, etc. And yeah, so there was the cheaper clear. I'm not really going to call this one a budget. I'm going to call this one an alternate clear for the dragon, using VV, because VV is kind of specific for this strategy. Anyway, see you next time.